Today's video is going to be the second installment in my Fun Fold card series. We're going to be making an A2 interlocking gatefold card. To do this, we're going to need 3 pieces of cardstock and some optional layers. The first piece we're going to need is the card base, which is labeled A in my template. And you'll need a piece that measures 10 3/4 by 5.5. And then you'll need layer B, which is 3.5 by 5 inches. And there are optional layers down below here. And then you'll need a piece that is 2.5 inches by 4 inches. I also have pre-cut some layers that you don't need for this card base, but this is how I'm going to decorate it. So I've cut these pieces that measure 1 3/8 by 5 1/4, and I have 2 of those. And then 4 by 5 1/4, and I have 1 of those. All right, so let's put this interlocking gatefold card together. Starting in my scoreboard, I've got my cardstock loaded up here, and across the 10 3/4 inch side, I'm going to score at 1 5/8, and then 3 1/4, and then 7.5, and then 9 1/8. So that's all that we're going to do for scoring. So 1 5/8, 3 1/4, 7.5, 9 1/8. Next, we're going to fold the outside flaps of this card base away from the card. So it's kind of like folding it backwards. So I'm going to take the piece on the left and fold it back, and then I'm going to accordion fold inside the card. So it kind of looks like this. And I'll do the same thing to the other side. Okay, so I'm folding the one piece in and then the other piece away. So here we go. This is what it should look like at this point. Super easy. All right, now let's grab our layers. Now here is where you need to consider if you're going to use the optional layers for A. If you want to decorate your card with pattern paper, once you lay down the piece here, it's going to cover that up. So you need to decide if you want to decorate your card base at this point before adhering down your panels. So I'm going to do that. I have these pieces that are from my optional layers that measure 1 3/8 by 5 1/4. And I'll just get those lined up onto my card base on the left and right outer flaps. Now you can decorate the next flap as well, but I just like it just like this. I like to show the card base as well. And then I'm taking my larger layer for the inside, which measures 4 by 5 1/4. And I'll just layer that up. So here's where you can stamp a greeting or write a personal message or even have a pretty pattern paper to display on the inside. So far, this is what we've got. Now we're going to take the piece B and apply adhesive to the left side only, just so that it adheres to this flap here and nothing else, okay? And then I'm going to take piece C and glue it to the right flap. And I want to make sure I'm not putting too much adhesive, just one strip towards the outer edge here on the right-hand side. And then just kind of line it up and center it to where I think it looks good. All right, and now when we fold this together, the left side will kind of tuck under the right side. Now, if you find that it's kind of having some resistance, you can move the C piece over to the right a little bit more so that B will tuck underneath it. All right, I hope that makes sense. And here we go. Here is our interlocking gatefold card template. So it just folds together nicely and folds flat and will fit inside of an A2 envelope. So now you can go to town. You can decorate, you can embellish. Also note that the layers here can be adjusted to suit your needs. You can use a die cut on the front for B and C. You can use circles or rectangles. You don't have to use cut pieces like this. You can use your dies to make it, pretty and do whatever you like. All right, so here we go. Let's make a card. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pop my card base into my scoreboard. And for my card project, I'm using a white card base. And I'm going to do all the scores, scoring at 1 5/8, 3 1/4, 7.5, and 9 1/8. Folding those outer flaps away from the card base and using my bone folder to burnish these down to create nice sharp creases. Okay, so card base is ready. Now I've got this beautiful pattern paper from Graphic 45. This is the Flight of Fancy paper. It's so pretty. I love the colors in here and those beautiful hummingbirds. And I just hate cutting up this paper because it's so darn pretty. So I haven't decided what I want to use. I'm just going to flip through and think about what I want to do with my card. I decided on this piece of hummingbird paper. I'm going to start by cutting the pieces for the optional layers. I'm going to use this to decorate my card, and this is double-sided paper, so I want to use both sides of this paper. So I'm going to use the blue pattern here to decorate those little outer edges. So this piece is going to measure 5 1/4 by 1 3/8, and I'll need 2 pieces like that. And then I'm going to use what's left over here, and I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to put that pretty hummingbird pattern on the inside of my card. So I'm going to cut a layer that's 4 by 5 1/4. So I have all the pieces cut for my card base. Now I need some pieces for my B and C flaps for the interlocking part. So whatever's left here, I'm just going to trim it down so it will fit nicely on the front of my card. I end up with a piece that measures 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. A little bit smaller than my original design, but that's okay. This template is workable to make it whatever you want it to be. So I'm going to apply those blue strips to the outer edge of my flaps, and I'm just centering it, leaving a nice pretty border all the way around. And then I'm going to take my hummingbird pattern and adhere it on the inside of my card. Apply some adhesive there, and I love the way that looks. There's still a little bit of white space there where you can leave a personal message. And I'm going to take what's left of this piece to put on the left side of my card. And it was a little bit thinner than I wanted it to be, so I just grabbed a white scrap of paper and I backed it on here with a little skinny white border just to create a little bit of sturdiness on this piece. And I apply adhesive to the left side and adhere that down, just centered on the front of that little flap, looking for the same amount of space on the top and bottom and left-hand side. All right, and then the last piece, I decided to do something different. I have the chipboard frames that coordinate with this hummingbird pattern paper, the Flight of Fancy. And I just dug through and I found this beautiful chipboard tag. And I thought, I don't really want it to be a tag. I think it looks perfect on the front of my card, but I just want to cut it away so that it's a rectangle. So I'm just going to grab my scissors and just eyeball here and trim away the top part of that tag. And then it's going to be an embellishment for the front of my card. I'll apply adhesive to the right-hand side only. And you want to make sure you use good strong stuff here. This tape runner probably is not the best choice. You might want to use liquid glue here or something to make sure that that stays. And I'll adhere that down to the front of my card. And look at that. This is so pretty, super quick and simple, but absolutely gorgeous. And that little flap will tuck under my tag there. And this will stand up nicely on display and fold flat for an A2 size envelope. And it opens up to be such an extravagant and gorgeous and pretty card. You have all this real estate to leave a personal message if you want. And there we go. This project is complete. Super simple, super versatile, but a little extra special. And we get to use some of that pattern paper that we've been hoarding. All right, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me. I appreciate the support as always. If you're interested in any of the products I used in today's video, they'll be listed in the description box down below. Coming up on screen is a playlist of more fun fancy fold videos. As the series grows, there'll be more and more videos added to that playlist. Thanks again for joining me. Have yourself a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!